Welcome, and let me remove the tag. Welcome to another episode. We're on another Monday night, and it's still dark in the studio that is my living room. Mika Fresh studio look all nice. She got a little curtain going on. She's all prepared. It's bright. Maybe I need to come down to Woodbridge so I can get better lighting. I'm still trying to get a replacement ring light, y'all. Hi, Nicole. Hello. I didn't even talk to you all day today. It was busy. It was another manic Monday. So thank you. I do need some lip gloss. I'm sorry. Anyway, welcome to the Sharing with Shani show. I am your host, Shani. This is our last Monday in January. We did it. We did the Sharing with Shani live on Be Live TV. I'm so excited. Did a whole month of this. Catch the replays on the Sharing with Shani YouTube channel. And I'm going to get started. So, we have my book cafe. My book cafe, I always highlight some books that I am really interested in. People have sent it to me. It's like, some marketing, whatnot, different types of books. This book is by one of my co-authors. Did you guys know that I have another book coming out? I have a book coming out in March. I'm going to tell you more about it on Thursday. I'll probably do a live on Thursday. Live from Louisville this week. But anyway, so this book is from one of my co-authors. And I need, hello, hold on one second. Okay, so the little girl inside owning my role in my own plane by Tanya Barbie. The little girl inside is a prolific story of triumph and discovery of inner peace. The reader will be captured while the author uses the writing pen as a sewing tool. A garment of praise, banner of victory, and fabric of joy. With imaginative color, the book is a perfectly designed combination of patterns expressing the maturation of a woman. So this book, The Little Girl Inside, is an amazing book of testimony and encouragement. Hi, Habiba. I know oh my goodness. Habiba, don't kill me. I owe a phone call. I owe you a phone call. We need to connect. Definitely will. My audio is patchy. Okay, let's fix that. Thank you very much. Hello. Friend, the audio is patchy, she says. How is that? Is that better? Better. Oh, Mika's shaking her head. All right. So, Habiba, I owe you a phone call, so I'm going to call you this week. Call me. The next book, Walking Your Authority, by another awesome co-author, Reverend Allison Daniels. Walking Your Authority, Unleashing the Divine Power from Within. You need this book if you heard the call. I'm going to just put it like that. If you heard the call, so you know God told you to do something, and you ain't did it yet. I'm using Ebonics tonight because you just have not done it yet. You got the call, and you're just sitting there thinking that you're not worthy. You're not worthy to serve. You're not worthy to do something. I don't know what it is. You got whatever it is. You're not walking in what you know you're supposed to do. When I was supposed to write a book, I wrote a blog for 3 years instead of a book. If I had this book then, I probably wouldn't have taken me 3 years, baby. Who knows? But get this book, Alice and Daniels. All of their websites will be on the replay in the comments because I only have 2 hands. I can't do both. Spiritual synergy. Heather, my friend Heather, took her workshop at Faith Filled Women like 2 years ago. So Heather, if you're listening to the broadcast or the replay, do a commentary on this. We were our tables were right next to each other, me and Tammy's tables. So I really got to know her. She's a farm girl over in Delaware on the Eastern Shore. Awesome woman of God, awesome writer. Get this book for health and wealth, and it's a great connection between your health, your health and your physical health and your spiritual health. And she connects the two. Really, really awesome. So go ahead and get that. And Tammy Carpenter, you can find her on Facebook. Love you too, Habiba. And Women Inspired Nations, another collaboration by another co-author. I got some awesome co-authors. I'm going to introduce them. I'm doing co-author takeover Thursday. So all my co-authors are going to get some love from me on my page, so you'll find out more about them. But this co-author is Ladrine Peterson. She has an excellent, excellent chapter in this book. Those are my picks for you for the month of January. Get those. I'm going to turn it over to Miss Mika Fresh, our wellness whisperer, our guru. She has a our health whisper tip. I gotta get this right, Mika. I'm sorry. I keep messing it up.
It whisper.
I'm adding ERs. I'm adding ERs that don't need to be there. I'm doing too much. Oh, friends don't lie. You ain't never lied. Friends don't lie. I love that shirt. Love your shirt.
Thank you.
So, friend of mine, my awesome friend, tell me, okay, last week you talked about acknowledging your fear.
Mm-hmm.
And so then this week is part 2 of that. And so you take it away. I'm going to give you the whole.
Yeah. So acknowledge your fears. And what do I do next? So it's like, y'all know I like analogies. So to me is like a game, right? So I play basketball, run track, whatever, anything competitive. Usually you study the opposition, right? You study that team that you're going to play. And I'm really fidgety, y'all. Sorry. So you study the team you're going to play, and the weaknesses that we have, the fear that we have is the opposition, right? Because our goal, our destiny, actually, at least the way I believe it to be, I don't believe that I was made to fear. So fear is opposition. And with that being said, I study my fear like I would study any team that I'm about to compete with. So I would like to know what triggered it, right? Like what was going on when I started to feel fearful? Like what was going on in my body? What was I thinking? What was happening? And then what was the next turn of events, right? So now I want to know. And the reason I study those things is because I need to know how I can help myself, how I can overcome these fears, because it is not healthy to live in fear. It is not healthy to be fearful. The Creator did not design me to be fearful. So and understanding these things, when I acknowledge those fears, then I can better help myself overcome the fears. I can also ask the Creator to help overcome those fears. He already know. But, you know, when we confess these things out loud to him, then we give way to what his will is. That's the whisper. Study it to overcome it. So how you feeling about that, Shani?
I like that. I like that a lot. We talked about fear a lot on this show. And I just think, it's a topic that probably will always need to be iterated, because we always, even in it, for some reason, fear always gets in the way of so many people, the things that they need to do, right? And we know, it's like we know that the fear is not from the spirit, it's not from God, but yet but in our natural mind, it's just something that takes a hold of us. So, I'm excited. I'm excited because people always get breakthroughs.
Yeah. So, and I feel like it's the culture of at least our world, right? I mean, I've been overseas, but I haven't immersed myself in their culture. But I know here it is definitely the culture to acknowledge negative things. I have a 4-year-old calling me. Go back. It is the culture here to tend to things that are sensationalized, things that catch attention, and sadly enough, positive things don't catch fire, the way we would like for them to. I did an exercise with a young client this evening. I asked her to list 5 to 10. I said, I need at least 5. If you can give me 10, give me 10 core beliefs, about yourself. And it took her a while to do the 5, right? to even get started. And then I think we got to 7. And then I said, I need the same amount of flaws that you feel you have. Wrote them like that. When she was talking to me about her positive stuff, there was some uncertainty. It wasn't that easy. Seemed a little fidgety, a little unsure. When we were talking about the flaws, it was totally different person. And what I noticed is that it's just easier for people to give in to the fear. I think sometimes we're assuming that other people have the same fears, everybody else feels the same, whatever it is, I'm not the only one. And while that's fine, it's what I aim to do is just kind of reframe how this whole conversation happens. And so I was a little nervous about last week saying acknowledge your fears, because I am a firm believer of, we manifest what we think, right? I have a shirt that says I cast spells, because I do. These words, they cast spells. However, I'm a bigger believer that if we are honest with ourselves, if we are if we are in tune, if we really connect with self, then it's not as much about what we say as it is about what we do, right? What was the intent behind saying out loud, acknowledge the fears? Well, today you hear my intent. It is you acknowledge the fear so that you can study it and overcome it. Because I will never have you just say, acknowledge your fears. All right, peace, Shani. Talk to you next Wednesday and we're done, right? I'm definitely going to walk you through it And I'm curious, like, how some of the other listeners felt. But I know I had a little bit of like, I don't know about this one, Mika. You sure you want to say that and leave it? I'm going to say that and leave it. Because we have to respect certain things too, right? It's like, and respect might be not the right word. I'll fill it out a little bit. We got to kind of like, we can't just go around acting like Satan doesn't matter, right? For those of us who believe there is a Satan, there is a devil, there is an enemy. Even if you take religion out of it, and we're talking even like in politics, we have to acknowledge that certain enemies exist to the U.S., right? We can't ignore them. We can't act like they don't matter. It has nothing to do with being scared of them or anything like that. At the very least, you got to admit and recognize that so-and-so exists and they mean no good to you. If you don't acknowledge that, then you're walking blindly. You know, then you can be like, ambush. There's the word. Yeah, we can be ambushed, right? And that can be deadly, detrimental. So it's like, if we don't at the very least acknowledge these fears, then we are operating as if they don't exist, and we risk ambush. Ambush is not good. Ambush is never a good thing for anybody, right? It's never a good thing. And so it's like, we don't want to be knocked off like that. So by at the very least acknowledging our fears, then we get better chance to bring it to the forefront and start to examine this thing and then understand what needs to be done next. So it's like, that's how I feel about it. I'm very certain that what I said last week was the right way to go, because this is, you know, the outlay. This is what is the outcome of that. I can't get my words right this evening. It's cool. This is the outcome of that acknowledgement, so that you can study it, so that you can overcome it.
I like that. And then
feedback.
Yes.
It's gone now.
I was going to say, acknowledge it so you can overcome it. It's just like with anything, like if you have a problem or like, I'm kind of using the analogy of like if you have an addiction or something, you have to acknowledge that you have that problem,
right?
So you can, because if you're just gonna, just put it under the rug. I know when I was in college, I had a spending problem. I had a money problem, right? And I had this money problem that I living above my means, well past college.
Yeah,
because I didn't think I had a problem. Right? Yeah. I was an emotional spender. And so it was just like, and it wasn't until like literally I had a check writing problem, right? I would write checks that, what they used to call them back in the rubber checks.
Yeah.
Right? And so, and then I went to go open a bank account. I'll never forget this. I went to go open a bank account, and the lady pulled my check system, the little thing that verifies old banks. And she was like, you can't get a checking account here. And she was like, they've labeled you potential fraud. And I sat in that daggone chair, like ambushed and crying. Like, because I'm like, no, I don't want to be fraud. Like, I was like, my feelings was hurt. But I had to acknowledge the fact that, look, Shani, you are living above your means, and now you are doing things to camouflage your problem.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't want to admit that I had a problem.
Right.
Like, dude, you had a serious problem. Right? And it wasn't until I said, I don't know how to handle money that I learned how to handle money. Period.
Yep.
I had to admit that.
Yep.
Same principle.
Yep.
I love you, girl. How can we get in contact with you?
Back. I'll drink to that juice bar. All the handles. I'll drink to that juice bar.
And any upcoming events or anything with the juice bar?
Yeah, actually. Oh my gosh, this little girl. The 3rd, Saturday. Let's see. The 3rd, yeah. Saturday the 3rd, we're gonna be at the Four Seasons. It is a adult, senior. I don't think they use the word senior. I think it's like older adults, living, assisted living type place. It's a community, and I am like looking through right now to see what time it starts. We're gonna be set up there on Saturday at I'll keep talking until I find it. We'll be set up there. It is a fitness event. As far as I know, it's not. As far as I know, it is an open event, and so I'll be there. And then on February 10th, Halo Academy has a Build a Box of Confidence event. This is open to the public, so it's at the it's in Woodbridge, Virginia, at Potomac Community Library is the name. It's on Opitz Boulevard, and so this event is for our young ladies ages 9 and up. We have a nice range of age in there. The purpose of this event is so that our young women fall in love with themselves. They are building confidence by reaffirming their positive attributes and reframing how they think of their flaws.
I love it.
It's something I'm extremely passionate about. I would like to do this in all 50 states if I could. I'm not even lying, because I think it's important. Why did I target women? And I apologize, it's not just for young ladies. It's open because we have some young men too. The young ladies, I don't know if it's something like in our DNA, I don't know if it's something in the estrogen where it's so easy for us to attack each other. We look for the flaws in other females more easily. We size each other up, and then we allow others' opinions, to form this being. Dudes don't do that too much, If you got a dude that's like 5'8" standing next to a guy that's 6'5", he like, that's a big dude. And
right.
That's kind of the extent of it, It didn't damage his being. But females, young ladies, and it goes into adulthood, we see somebody that we think might be prettier than us, or, longer hair, light colored eyes, or whatever it might be. We almost immediately begin to question our own beauty. Well, am I pretty? Am I beautiful? We start to question. And when we let that little bit of doubt in, it just, bad things happen. So this Build Your Box of Confidence is open. We have a few spaces left. We actually outgrew our venue 3 times.
Yay!
Because, I was y'all. I'm excited about this, and I'm proud that a lot of the young teenagers actually really wanted to be a part of this, and they was like, please, 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 can you make room for us? Can you make room for us? So we went back to the library like a couple times, like, do y'all have a big enough space? So right now I think we're looking at about 35 girls. It was supposed to be kind of small and intimate. So we're looking at about 35 girls. We have room for about 8 more because we have our volunteers that are going to be there as well. So this is February 10th at 2:30, from 2:30 to 4. We have sponsorship for 5 more girls. After that, it's $7, and we're a nonprofit, so that goes to covering the materials. So it's a box, like you literally have a box that you will put just positivity in. So pictures, anything that you look at that makes you feel good about yourself, that brings about happy times. We're going to write notes to ourselves. We're going to write affirmations. We're going to do a whole bunch of other things. And then we are literally going to trash our fears. We're going to trash all those negative thoughts. So that's what we're going to do. Yeah.
I love it. Oh, wow. You can't get her to go.
And like it goes and then it comes in and it goes really quickly. It's not there anymore.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mika. I will see you next week, first week in February.
Oh, yeah.
Monday in February.
All right.
Awesome.
All right.
Take care.
You too.
And our next guest, I would like to introduce to you. Our special guest of the evening is Dr. Deidre Williams is the daughter of Homer and Shirley Williams, born and raised in Lockhart, Texas. Spent many years in the D.C. area, the Washington, D.C. area. She is a member of the Alpha Sorority Incorporated, the Progressive Club, Delta Kappa Gamma, First Baptist Church, I believe, of Lockhart, Texas. Holds certifications of Texas and Midland in administration, special education. She just got it going on. She's an educator, basically, to sum it all up. But she also understands that she would not have accomplished any of this for her own benefit, but to benefit God's kingdom. I love that part. I love that last part. And so without further ado, I'd like to welcome our special guest to the show tonight, Dr. Deidre Williams. How are you tonight? Hello? We're having a little technical difficulties, but just 1 second. So it looks like there for 1 second. Deidre, can you hear me? So we had a little bit of technical difficulties, but Deidre is back on, and we're going to bring her back in, and I'm going to start. There she is. Hi, Deidre. I'm going to do my whole. I'm going to introduce you again, since you didn't hear that fabulous introduction. So
I heard that.
You heard it. Okay, great.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Right. And so tell us a little bit about yourself in your own words, Dr. Deidre.
Well, I think you pretty much summed it up very well. I do want people to know a part of that being an educator is having the call. And so now I accept that. That's what I was called to do. And so I'm at the university level teaching now. God has progressed me from pre-K, pre-K 12 up, and it's just a matter of accepting that call and knowing what God has wanted you to do in that instance.
Mm-hmm. It's funny you said that, Dr. Deidre, because I always wanted to be a teacher, and I remember at 10, I always tell this story. Because we were doing this workshop for leadership training at my church, and we had to go back to our childhood. It was find a specific point in your childhood where you knew that particular thing was going to was somehow going to play a role in what you're doing today. And for me, it was teaching my little cousin, who was 5 years younger than me, how to tie her shoe. And the joy when she got it after 2 weeks of me teaching her every single day, and the joy we both had, not just her, but the look of accomplishment that she had on her face, and the look of accomplishment I had, because she was so appreciative to me that I taught her how to tie her shoe. And I was like, I'm going to be a teacher. By the time I got to high school, I was like, I'm not teaching little kids, right? Like, I was just like, and then went on to college and majored in history education with the idea to teach high school. Never taught a day in a classroom. But when I was asked at my church to become the Sunday school teacher, this is probably 8 years ago now. As scared as I was, I knew I was supposed to do it. I knew. I knew. And I look back, all of the corporate jobs that I had, I was always the trainer. And then when people would come on board and did onboarding training, I was always the person that they picked. So when you say I got the call to teach and to be an educator, I'm right there with you. I get it. I totally get it. Can you walk me through your journey of how you ignored the call for many years and finally accepted it?
How did you know I ignored it? I was just getting ready to say. You ran toward, I ran away from. And I was in college. When I was in college, I said, I am going to be a lawyer. I am not going to teach. I'm not going to do anything. My mother said to me, you need to get your teaching certification. I said, no. Everyone in this family is a teacher. Surely we can do something besides teach. I would literally, and I kid you not, my mom can tell you, when I walked toward that education building at that university, I would go all the way around just to keep from walking toward, to setting foot in that building.
Wow.
Because I said, no, this is not going to happen. So I said, well, I'll just, I was a journalism major. I was going to be on TV reporting the news. I saw one video, and it was such a negative image being portrayed. And I said, nope, this is not what I'm supposed to do. I cannot report the bad news of African-American men. I cannot, I can't stand the portrayal. So I said, I'll be a social worker, still a helping profession, social work. My mom is still telling me, You need to teach. You need to teach. Nope, I'm not doing that. I graduated with a social work degree and got a job working in a school. And the next thing you know, I'm like, I have to go back to school and get my teaching credentials. I have to.
Oh, wow.
I have to. So I ran as long as I possibly could. Really ran, and then you get the lecture of, you could have had this done if you had just listened.
Right. So I wonder, how did you start writing, and how did you get into, writing books and all of that?
I have been writing since I was in elementary school. I loved reading. I always have loved reading. I've always loved writing. And so I would write stories at home. I don't mind saying I'm really kind of an introvert. I liked being inside when everyone else was playing outside. I'd read a book or I was writing. And when I was in the DC area, I joined the writing project, the DC area writing project. And it was a summer institute. And we spent all of our time just writing, reading each other's writing and doing that. And I said, you know what? You've got a book inside you and you need to write that book. And so I wrote several, and it was a book called Quit Kalia about my niece. I was missing them so much by having moved to the DC area. And so all those memories and the fun times that we had just started to rise up. And I wrote the book, tried to get it published, tried to get an illustrator, and it just didn't work out. It wouldn't work out. I felt like I was a failure, and I was failing my niece because she was so excited. And I didn't understand why I couldn't get things to happen, because I was right there in the area where all these things could happen. So when I came back to Texas, some 7.5, almost 8 years later, everything came into place. And my niece at the time I wrote it was like 7 or 8 years old. Now she's 21.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, she's an adult and I'm publishing this book now. What's going on? But then I realized God was like, you needed to be here for this. Now she's old enough. It's not about you, but now she's old enough. She's a part of this. So she was a part of the illustrations. She was a part of going back and forth with the printer. She had input. She goes with me to book fairs.
Wow.
She's a part of it now. And so now she can understand it. And so I realized it wouldn't have worked then. It would have made her feel really great if I had done it years and years and years ago. But now she's learning and she's understanding that piece. And for me, it's been the process of, just because God shows you a piece of the puzzle doesn't mean you have the whole puzzle.
And that's just funny. That. And Deidre, so hey Trudy. So one of our viewers right now just put, God's timing is it our timing, which actually is a great segue to our topic tonight. I was getting there. So that's just like right on time, right? I think a lot of times, I think this is so important because, especially coming off, I did a business telesummit last week. We had all these entrepreneurs on, and everybody had different topics. But I think a lot of times we tend to try to rush something.
Yes.
We try to rush God into something, and we probably rush, and we're not even ready. You're not. Oh, she's saying she's sorry. I love you too. But we try to rush what God is trying to prepare us for. You know,
Absolutely.
And I always say, you know, even though, and then He'll use sometimes our disobedience and not doing things. He will still use it for His good. Because when He told me to write a book, I wrote a blog, right? But then when I finally wrote the book, He used all those blog posts to turn into my book, right? And so it was just, and so even though we tend to want to rush God, I know I have been a victim of that. I'm raising both hands up. I admit I'm sharing my mess tonight. That I have I don't do it as much anymore, but I always want to rush God into things. Well, you said, where's the promise? He said, I got to prepare you first, right? And
Yes, and that's exactly it, because this process, when I went back and I looked at the topic that I had chosen for tonight, I'm like, what in the world? God knew what He was doing when that topic at that particular time. He knew exactly what He was doing for this day, because I'm in that process now. I am so in that process of slowing down and learning to let God have it. You know, you shown me the promise. I've been trying to make the promise happen. You know, I've been trying to take control of that promise. And He's like, wait a minute, you got a process to go through. I just showed you what I have for you on the end over here. But you can't control not one thing in this. And that's been what I've been working with and dealing with. And I had to acknowledge, like, God, you know what? I don't have any control over this. I realize now, after hitting that 20th brick wall, that, you know, I'm in control of nothing. I need you to take control of this. But in that, I'm having to learn to trust Him. I'm having to learn to be patient. And I'm having to learn to focus on what He wants me to do. Because I've been all over the place. Right. I'll get an idea and I have Post-it notes everywhere with stuff written on napkins, trying to control everything. And Mika said it earlier. She was talking about fear. And I'm like, you know, my fear was my loss of control.
Yes.
over my life, which I have no control over. No control. You know, and somebody said only 20, 50. No, it was more than 20. I just threw out 20, but you know, you get tired of hitting that wall. It was way more than 20. I have lost count at how many times, because I was so used to being in control of myself. And I wasn't in control of anything at all. And then I had to, what I was doing was I would have a pity party. Every time it didn't go my way. God, you're punishing me. And I don't know why you're punishing me. You know, I was being spoiled and entitled. And it's like, stop. And I'm like, God, you said you would give me the desires of my heart. You showed me the promise. And I'm trying to get it. And you just keep stopping me and blocking me. And He stopped me dead in my tracks when I said you said you would give me the desires of your heart, of my heart. He said, I need you to go back and read that whole scripture. And, you know, I got in the bed.
Deidre, can you say that again? Because your audio went out.
Okay.
So when he said go back and read the whole scripture, because I got one too. I got it.
Okay, he said to me, when I said to him, you said you would give me the desires of my heart. Why aren't you? He said, I need you to go back and read that entire scripture. And when I did, it said, delight yourself in the Lord, and he shall give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way unto him and trust in him, and he shall bring it to pass.
Right.
And he said, you haven't been delighting in me always. You've been chasing you, but you haven't delighted in me. And it just knocked me dead on my head. And I said, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. My wow moment was and definitely similar to, what you said earlier about, having control, having to release control. Like I was the person that planned everything. I planned out everything. And so when the plan didn't go well, like that was really hurtful. Like I couldn't understand why my plans did not work. Like, and I was very prideful of that. Like I had a very good plan. Like I don't understand why this did not work because I thought it through and everything, A through Z, right? Yeah. And I remember, and I was like, but I was at my lowest points and at my lowest point spiritually, and was sitting in a leadership training, and I didn't even know why I was even a leader. I think it was a leader because they wanted me to be a Sunday school teacher because I had the most kids at my church. And we were getting an intern that fall, like fresh out of seminary. She was on fire for God. And she came up there to the podium and was like, her favorite scripture was Jeremiah 29:11. And she was like, for I know the plans I have for you. And I had this aha moment, right? Oh my goodness, God has a plan for me. Like I was excited. Right? I was excited. I'm like, I don't have to plan a thing because I was at my breaking point. So I was like, I don't feel like planning anymore. All my plans keep going down the hole, blank hole, right? And so finally, but then I sat on that scripture for 2 years. And then one day, and I was like, well, God, where's the plan? I thought you had a plan, right? And he said, I need you to keep reading, right? So I was like, so then when I hit verse 12, Deidre, woo, Jesus. I was like, it said, so, it was, I know the plans I have for you, but you got to seek me first. You got to come to me in prayer. Like I was sitting there like just stuck, like, oh, I got to take action. So I got to do something. He got a plan, but I got to activate the plan through my prayer life. Come on, man. Like, I was just like, I was sitting there just being stuck on stupid. Yes.
And it's so funny because that's how he does it. And then I'm thinking all the time, as I'm reading scripture now, I'm reading them differently than I read them, when I was younger, when everything was going exactly the way I thought they should go. And so now I'm in the stage of, he's like, I need you to read that again because there's a beginning and there's an end to that scripture. And so you don't know the stuff in the middle.
Right.
You don't know the stuff up, and you don't know that stuff up at the bottom. And so now I'm changing my thought process in my mind. And I'm working on, aligning with God. Okay, I see what you're trying to do. You're telling me to keep working, keep doing that work. And you're laying out that yellow brick road, so to speak, ahead as I'm walking. He's like, I gave you the glimpse. I don't always give you everything, just a glimpse. But you got to keep walking. And as you walk, I'm revealing to you just a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. Building my patience because I had none. no patience whatsoever. You know, I'm like, it's like standing at the amusement parks for me. It's 300 people in front of you, and you see the ride, but it's just 300 people in front of you, and you're like, "Ooh, it's hot out here. My feet hurt." And you know, it's like waiting for God. God, I know you got a blessing for me. I know you got a problem for me. You know, I know you got a promise for me. I can see it, but ooh, my feet hurt. Ooh, I've been waiting a long time. Lord, when? Just when? And he's like, at the right time. He said it. I want to give this to you. He's waiting to give it to us.
Right.
He's waiting. I had to turn over, and I'm turning over, and I'm learning to turn it over to him. Not let my mind get in the way so much, and my fear of loss of control get in my way so much.
So, Deidre, how can people get in contact with you? And can you share about your consulting services that you also offer?
Sure. I do. It's ministry that meets people where they are. And I pray to God, and I'm still aligning with him, because when I first started this out years ago, it was educational. And he was like, no, you have a message and a ministry that you are supposed to share with people. And I'm taking you through this process so that you can share with people. So it's about the word and giving the word to people. Ministry with churches and youth leaders, women's ministries. I still do the educational piece where I go into schools and other places that ask me to come and work with youth, certain ages, or their teachers. You can get in touch with me at Through Eyes LLC at gmail.com, or Through Our Eyes LLC.com. That's the website. What is it? www.throughouryeyes.llc.com. I'm sorry. And the email address is througheyesllc@gmail.com. And I never tell people no, because I don't know what God has in store for me. You know, I used to say I don't want to be in a box. People see me as a teacher, they think, oh, you're supposed to come teach the babies. And I haven't been in a classroom with the babies in about 15 years. But how you can't say no. People want you to come sing, and it's like, ooh, God is moving me past that. He wants me to share a word, but you don't say no to God. You just don't say no. So I don't box myself, but the focus is definitely the ministry of God. It is the ministry of God, and how to be able to share that word with so many.
I thank you for coming on. We're gonna if anybody has a question or comment, I've been reading your comments this week. Habiba says good word tonight. And I thought I saw a comment. Dr. Eric said one of my favorite texts. I think, and then I think he was talking about the text that you had
Psalm 37.
He said Psalms 37. So Trudy said, well, they mean the grown babies. So we're getting some great feedback from some faithful listeners. I thank you for coming on, Deidre. Do you have any final thoughts for our viewers tonight? I'll let you have the final word. Before you give the final word tonight, I do want to just mention that you can catch the replay on the Share with Shani YouTube channel in about an hour. You go there. We need to get some more. We need to up our subscribers. So if you could check us out on YouTube, that would be awesome. We're here every Monday night sharing with Shani, highlights ordinary people working for extraordinary God, sharing love, light, and life. If you want to be a guest on the show, please come on. I only have 7 slots left for 2018. Amen. Won't he do it? So yes, you should come on.
Yeah.
And to the Share with Shani show. We will be next Monday. Starts our takeover for the whole month of February. We're going to have at least 3 guests on at a time as we take over the airwaves, and I will be sharing my book with 11 other co-authors, sharing our prayers. And our Teller Summit will be March 1st and 2nd, and followed by a book signing on March the 3rd of this year here in the District of Columbia. So if all of my DC, DMV folks, if you're available March 3rd, please come out to support all of the co-authors that trusted me with helping them share their story. And you'll get to meet them, and I want to pour into them all that they poured into me. So I just thank you. I thank you all for listening tonight. And thank you, Trudy. I'm so proud of what God is doing in your life. You need to come on the show, Minister Trudy. I'm yelling at people. They're not even looking at me. I'm yelling at them through the computer. But yes, I appreciate that. Thank you for the feedback. But Dr. Deidre Williams, thank you so much for coming on tonight. And you have the final word. I'm gonna let you close this out. Whatever God is putting in your heart.
Thank you so much for just allowing me to come on, and it's a blessing what God has gifted you with. And I just say this: your gifts will make room for you, and let your gifts make room for you. You know, I'm learning to get out of the way and let God have it. So if you're tired of hitting that brick wall, just call on him and wait on him. He will deliver. Good night, and thank you.